Hey everybody, so today we're going to be making a spinach artichoke dip. So stay tuned and I'll see you there. Ready? Okay, so today we're going to be doing a spinach artichoke dip. Blah. So I got the Reese artichokes and they're quarters, so we're just going to pop them open, strain them, and then chop them up smaller. And then I had already got the spinach prepared. That way we don't have to do that. There we go. So these you just kind of want to make them small as you can. I seem to have forgotten my bowl. Just move some of this out of the way. There we go. Just run through it one more time. You can do this dip with fresh spinach or artichoke hearts. That's what these are, but if you do, you have to make sure that you clean them very well because they have these little purple thorns on the inside that look like little hairs, and they're not edible at all. Yeah, so the canned ones are easier for the fact that they're already pre-cooked, and for the most part, yeah, so for the most part they're pre-cooked. And they have them sitting in some kind of little brine of some sort. So this is the brand I got. I like that brand. You can get whatever brand you want. They also have those in glass jars, so if you don't like the tinny taste that a can gives, then you can use the glass jars instead. And then when you strain them, you want to try to get as much of the water out as you can. Don't do perfect, just makes it easier. Okay, so that should be good for those. You don't want to make them too small so you don't taste them, but having them as quarters is just a little too big for the dip, because you want to be able to scoop it later. And it's a little messy, as you can tell. Okay. I'm going to rinse off my hands. Yeah. So obviously I didn't get all the water out. There we go. It's okay. Alright, so this recipe also calls for garlic, I'm going to use fresh garlic and a little bit of pre-jarred garlic, minced garlic. I just got the generic, nothing special. So, I've made this recipe before and we've kind of tweaked it. So it's not exactly the original. But basically for everything you just need a half cup of mayonnaise, sour cream, and the cheeses that you want. And then you use a whole brick of cream cheese. And you want to make sure that that's warmed up a little bit, like room temperature, because otherwise it's a pain to mix. And I'm just going to throw this in with the artichokes right here. And then we'll put the minced garlic in from the jar later. Okay, so for the cream cheese and everything, I just use a fork to kind of mix everything up. It's what I find works best for me. But you can use an electric mixer, a hand mixer, whatever you think is easier. And you want to try to get as much of it in as one go as you can. You don't have to clean it out too much. And then I just kind of hold it flat and scrape off what's left. Alright, yeah, it's nice and soft. So then for this, I'll just use half a cup of this or half of this container. It's an, 8-ounce container. So you only need about 4 ounces. So. And this is sour cream. And none of the brands really matter as far as what you use. It's up to you as far as what brand you use. I just prefer the brands that I have, which is Daisy. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of mix these together. Because like I said before, sour cream, if it's not warmed up, it's a bit of a pain. Yeah. So a lot of these I got were Walmart brand or Great Value brand, just because they're cheaper and stuff like that, especially for like the cheese and the sour or the cream cheese and whatnot. Yeah, and then the spinach I'm going to be using is also a Great Value brand. Okay. So. Oh, and then this one is not frozen. This one is. You can use both. You can use one or the other. It doesn't really matter. But this one is the organic baby spinach that we got. And then this one is just from the freezer. But we decided we wanted more spinach in our dip this time. So we decided to chop up some of the spinach ahead of time. And then you also need a half cup of mayonnaise. Probably need a little spatula. Where'd it go? There it is. So, yes, a half cup, and then you just want to level it off as best you can. Try to make it even. There. Let's set that aside. You want to get as much of it from the container as possible. Makes cleanup easier also. There we go. Oops. Goodness. It is a little bit messy making this. There we go. Okay. So you just mix these all together. Okay. So that should be pretty well mixed there. I'm going to add the spinach first. Yeah. So when you do the frozen spinach, you want to make sure that it is defrosted. And the problem is it sticks to the container, so you kind of have to turn it inside out. And that's also another reason why we got the baby spinach that wasn't frozen, is because you kind of lose all this right here.
You said it's organic.
Yes, it's organic. Sorry, if you guys are wondering, I'm talking to my husband. Okay, it's not gonna be perfect, but we have more, so it's okay. So the great thing about the frozen spinach is that it adds a little bit of moisture to the dish when you cook it, so that way it's not so thick and makes it easily spreadable later. So you want to try to get this as mixed as possible, so that way adding everything else is easier. So then we're just going to take our artichokes and our garlic cloves that we chopped up earlier.
Parsley and thyme. Parsley and thyme in it last time.
Oh, I didn't grab that. Oh, I forgot a few ingredients, which I do believe is parsley and thyme. So I'll have to grab those here in a second, but I just want to get all of this mixed up. And then we're going to be adding in salt and pepper to taste, the cheese, the rest of the spinach, and the rest of the garlic that we wanted. And then of course the parsley and thyme as soon as I grab those. Okay. Okay, so parsley. And then with the seasonings, you can kind of just add your own. None of this was in any of the recipes I found trying to look it up again. So I'm just going to do, I'd say about a tablespoon for the thyme, maybe a little less. I'm just going to eyeball it in here a little bit. That should be about good. And you can taste it and then try and add more later. And then I'll probably do about 2 tablespoons for the parsley. That should be about good. It's not exact. And like I said, we're going to do salt and pepper to taste, so there's no real actual measurement. It's just your preference, really. That looks about right. About a tablespoon, I'd say, for what I use. And then for the salt, I'll probably do about a teaspoon or so, maybe a little more. So, okay. And then before I mix that up, I'm just going to add the rest of the spinach in. Okay, let's move these out of the way. And then I'm going to get the garlic. And it's just one teaspoon of garlic for the minced garlic in the jar, since we already had the 3 cloves of garlic earlier. And the bag that we used was a 10-ounce bag, which is fine, but we, like I said, we wanted more spinach this time. So we added about, I'd say,
20 extra ounces.
I'd say about another 4 or 5 ounces if it was frozen. Okay. So once you get everything all mixed up, you can add your cheese in. Let's start with the Parmesan. Alright, the recipe called for about a half cup. I'm going to put about a handful, which is a little over a half cup in my hand. And the same with the mozzarella. You can add less or more. It's up to you on that. Okay. And then this is going to go into a baking dish, into the oven. And you're going to want to set your oven for, and then this is what it looks like mixed up. And you're going to want to set your oven for about 350. And then you want to put that in there until the top is golden brown or until warmed all the way through. Alright, well that is how you make a spinach artichoke dip. And again, you know, looks like this. You see it's mixed all the way through. And I invite you to like, share, and comment down below if you would like. And I will see you on the next one. And then the best dish, I forgot, was to put it in a glass bread pan. So that way it makes it easier to get out later.
There you go.
Okay, so this is what the finished product will look like before you put it in the oven.